Something's different. Can you see it? I've got a moustache. So last night I celebrated the glory of the moustache by looking up into the light. One of my favourite artists is a little known Adelaide artist called Robert Hannaford. So I'm going to create a portrait and I've tried to replicate some of these shadows. I'm going to paint that. By the way, if you're into this moustache, let me know in the comment section. My wife Nicola hates it.
I hate it so much. It's not good.
So I'm going to need all the support I can get if I'm going to keep this thing. First step, I divided my skin tones into 6 tones. I like doing this because it limits my color palette and I don't confuse myself with saturation. Instead, I can focus on the tonal aspects of the portrait. I painted in the dark areas, starting with the background, and then I really started just experimenting with where these shadows are. For quite a small portrait, I was using a rather large brush. I think this one's about 1/2 inch. From here, it was really about shadows, highlights, shadows, highlights. One of the challenging areas was working on the mouth. Mouths are always difficult. I actually attempted this portrait of Robert Hannaford using oil pastels a while ago, and there's something about the photography he took where the mouth was a whole lot easier. It's another reminder that a good photo makes a massive impact when you're painting. As this portrait develops and I became more confident about the shadows and the highlights and the tonal variation, I began to introduce a bit more saturation. You'll notice that this portrait is far more saturated and red toned than the original photo. And this is because I'm trying to mimic the color palette of Robert Hannaford. I think it's really important to always give yourself permission to go beyond the photo. A photo is really just a reference to help aid your creative process. And if you follow a photo too closely, you start to lose a sense of the form of the portrait. For example, you shouldn't have highlights too close to the edge of a portrait when you're painting. When your highlights are really close to their edge, it flattens the image, and this is a classic mistake that people make when they're focusing too much on mimicking a photo. If you look at a Renaissance portrait where there was no photography to aid them, you'll notice that the highlight is always in the middle of the form. It's never on the edge of a form. And this helps to kind of exaggerate the 3-dimensional aspects of this portrait. One of the challenges is always knowing when to stop. Today I decided to stop when I was satisfied, because at the end of the day, this is just a study. It's a good opportunity to celebrate Robert Hannaford, good opportunity to create something new, create something small, and of course, celebrate the moustache. So tell me, what do you think? Do you like the study? I've enjoyed it. It's been a great morning. If you're keen on this channel, like, subscribe, share it with a friend. See you next time.